Welcome to the special broadcast on the parliamentary elections on DD India, the great Indian election. This is the ultimate election year, as globally more voters than ever in the history will head to the polls. On the show today, we take a look at the first phase of election, where 8 union ministers, 2 former chief ministers, 1 governor's fate will be sealed. There are over 1,500 candidates who are set to test their electoral fate in the first phase of elections on the 19th of April, when 102 seats across 21 states and union territories will go to polls. Well, 2024 is the year of democracy. During the past 75 years, the election process in India has evolved a lot. From ballot boxes to electronic voting machines to VVPATs, the Indian democracy keeps evolving. How the electorate has changed over the years, DD India takes a closer look.
The first phase of polling will see 102 seats with 1,658 candidates in the fray. There are 969 million voters on the electoral rolls for the 2024 general elections across all phases. There has been a 6.25% increase in the number of voters since 2019, which stood at 912 million. How has the electorate changed over the years? Let's take a look at the demographics of the electors. Share of voters in total population is the highest in 2024. Voter population ratio varies across states. Lowest gender imbalance in the electorate. Higher share of first-time voters. The share of voters in the total population will be the highest in 2024. Elections over the years from 1951 to 2024 have shown that the electors as a percentage of the total population is rising from less than 50% in 1951 to 67% in 2024. The difference in the demographic profile of states shows a disparity in the voter population ratio. There are large variations. How has this changed over time? The numbers have increased, but in different magnitude. Undivided Andhra Pradesh showed a maximum increase of 16.5 percentage points, followed by West Bengal and Karnataka. Bihar has seen the lowest increase at 2.1 percentage points, followed by Punjab 3.9% and Rajasthan with 4.5 percentage points. The 2024 elections will see the least gender imbalance in the electorate. It was 910 in 1971, it went lower to 902 in 1991-92. In the 2019 elections, the gender imbalance was at 926, while in this election, it's at 948. Finally, the share of first-time voters is higher than what it was in 2019, but it is not the highest in India. There are 1.9% first-time voters in India, which when translated into numbers is 18.2 million first-time voters. The highest number of first-time voters was in 2014 at 2.75%. The percentage of first-time voters is the highest in Jharkhand at 3%, followed by Rajasthan with 2.9% and Madhya Pradesh with 2.8%. The lowest first-time voters are in Kerala and Maharashtra with 1%. This election could see many news. How the Indian voters adapt to changing times and challenges will be tested as India decides in 2024. Anil Thomas's report for DD India.
Well, the first phase of elections, 102 seats, we have divided 2 evenings or 2 halves of the first phase of elections. The first that we are looking tonight is the west, the center and down south. Total 66 seats that go to polls in the first phase. The first evening we're going to look at these numbers. Rajasthan 12 seats, Madhya Pradesh 6, Maharashtra 5, Chhattisgarh 1, Lakshadweep 1, Puducherry 1, you've got Andaman Nicobar Islands 1, and you've got Tamil Nadu, the south or the state from the south that could do a lot of talking, that could reverberate in these elections. There are 39 seats. A quick look at the western zone. You've got the BJP winning 16 seats in this particular region. When one takes a look at the 12 seats in Rajasthan and the 5 seats in the Vidarbha belt from Maharashtra, put that together, 16 of the 17 with the BJP, 1 with the Congress. If one takes a look at an NDA versus the opposition bloc in 2024, this is how the numbers look like. 16 in favor of the BJP from the west on part of India in the first phase as compared to one seat, the lone seat of Chandrapur, that's with the Congress, that goes to polls on April 19th. Let's shift focus to the central part of India. There are 7 seats, 6 in Madhya Pradesh in the first phase and 1 in Chhattisgarh, the region of Bastar that goes to polls in this particular phase. BJP once again having a lion's share there. 5 seats to the BJP, 2 to the Congress, 1 in Chhindwara, that's with the Congress. Nakul Nath winning it in 2019. We've got 1 in Chhattisgarh. The lone seat that goes to polls is with the Congress here. If you juxtapose it with 2024, this is how the central part of India, the seats that go to polls in the first phase, NDA having 5, the Congress picking up 2. Well, now let's dip down south. You've got Tamil Nadu and 3 union territories, Puducherry, Lakshadweep along with Andaman Nicobar. This is where things get interesting and this is where the big fight is. 42 seats in the south. You've got DMK picking up 10, DMK picking up 24, Congress picking up 10. The left parties picking up 2 seats each, the CPI, the CPIM, AIADMK picking up 1, the NCP picking up 1 that seat from the union territory. And this is where the big competition or the big fight that's going to take place in phase 1 of voting. Take a look at purely juxtapose it with 2024. NDA doesn't open its account here. The opposition bloc has 41 seats in this particular region. Others picking up 1 seat. The AIADMK not in an alliance with any partner there in Tamil Nadu, picking up that 1 lone seat that's left with the others. So that's how the number game is purely in terms of the 3 parts or the 3 zones that we have put this particular election. Before we get into the big candidates, the big seats that one need to look forward to, let's quickly take a look at the Election Commission data. The total candidates in phase 1, 1,618, 92% of it male, 8% female, 135 females there in the election battle in 2024 in phase 1. Moving to the education qualification, some standout statistics that we're looking at. Graduates and above, 835 candidates who are graduates and above. That's roughly 52% of the candidates educated above graduation and above. Criminal cases, another thing that the Election Commission brought about when it thinks about bringing more transparency, especially when it comes to the voters deciding the candidates. 252 candidates with criminal records, roughly 16%. Crorepatis. In this age, you have 450 candidates who are crorepatis in this particular elections. That's roughly around 28% of the total number. Now, since we mentioned crorepatis, let's quickly take a look at how these crorepatis are panned out. Above 500 crores, you just got 2 candidates in the fray. 100 to 500 crores, close to 7 candidates in the fray. 50 to 100 crores, you've got 24 candidates. 20 to 50 crores, that's 30 candidates. 1 to 20 crores, that's 387. And as we move further down, the numbers keep increasing. But an important and a standout stat is less than 1 lakh in your purse. There are close to 166 candidates there in the fray in this particular election battle of 2024. This is just phase 1. This is not the all 7 phases, just the phase 1. Also another statistic, complaints that have been before the Election Commission, close to 200 complaints, 169 complaints the ECI has acted. Complaints received, if you break it up with the parties, the Congress 51 acted on, the BJP giving up 38 complaints, most of it being acted upon. The others, the issues raised are 90, those being attended are 80. That's a flip in the graphic. Apologies for that, but that's how this particular graphic play out. Now, there are many seizures, that the poll watch body that ECI has done. Look at cash that's been recovered, 11.3 crores, alcohol, 1.4 crores, drugs, 189.9 crores, metals, that's gold, silver in form of gifts, 32.2 crores, gifts, 1.2 crore. You put that number together, close to 230 crores that's been seized in this particular election battle. Also, C-Vigil, an app that the Election Commission has launched, 912 complaints that have been registered, close to 800 that are correct, and the ECI within 90 minutes, within 100 minutes, taking stringent steps, especially when it comes to the complaints that have been put on the C-Vigil app, especially when it comes to influencing the voters. Now, there are 12 seats in phase 1. especially in the west, center and south of India, that we picked as crunch battles. The first one in Churu, you've got the para-Olympian champion there, Devendra Jajaria, in the battle race, picking the BJP ticket. It's going to be a close battle. Many say this one could go down to the wire. Rahul Kashwan taking on Devendra Jajaria. It's an interesting battle, especially between a sportsman and a politician. Two more seats from Rajasthan that we picked. A union minister there, Bhupendra Yadav, in the election fray from Alwar, taking on Fazal Hussain from the BSP and Lalit Yadav from the Congress. It's another interesting, keenly fought battle, especially in Rajasthan. The third seat that we picked from Rajasthan is another union minister, Arjun Ram Meghwal, taking on Govind Ram Meghwal. It's called the Battle of Meghwals there in Bikaner. Shifting from Rajasthan to Maharashtra, two interesting battles. The first one, Nagpur, union minister Nitin Gadkari in the election fray, taking on Congress's Vikas Thakre. It's an interesting battle because remember, Nitin Gadkari is in the election fray, and there were many talks on the battle, on especially the threat that he faces from this particular seat. Another seat from Maharashtra that we picked, Chandrapur. This is the lone seat that the Congress managed to win in 2019. Remember, of the entire belt in Maharashtra, this was the lone seat that the Congress managed to win. 2019. Heavyweight Hansraj Ahir lost from this particular seat. This time there is a change in the Minister of Culture there in the race in Chandrapur on a Lok Sabha ticket for the BJP. Now dipping down south, three seats that we picked in the south. No, Madhya Pradesh is another one. Madhya Pradesh, we've got Mandla, we've got another minister from the union government, Fagan Singh Kuleshte, there in the election battle against Omkar Singh. This particular Mandla seat is very interestingly poised because for two reasons that we'll open with our guest when we deliberate on these seats. The next from Madhya Pradesh is Chindwara. Chindwara, the Kamal Nath's son there, Nakul, is in the election fray. BJP's Banti Vivek Sahu, the challenger there. And this is the lone seat that the Congress managed to win. Congress had two seats in 2014. It's down to this one Chindwara belt that, it's a passing of baton from Kamal Nath to Nakul. Now, Jabalpur is another interesting race. You've got Dinesh Yadav from the Congress and you've got Ashish Dubey, a new entrant in the election fray. It's a high voltage battle that we have seen, especially in the election pitch that the two candidates have made. We'll have to see how the voters, are looking at this particular election, matchup between these two top candidates there in Madhya Pradesh. Now, time to shift down south. Look at the big seats from south on how they could be influential. Heading to Tamil Nadu, the first seat, Coimbatore, you've got K. Annamalai, the BJP state president, taking a big call, especially when it comes to going solo in Tamil Nadu in the election fray. He's got Ganapati Rajkumar from the DMK and the AIADMK. That makes it a triangular contest. And down south this time around, 2024 will have many triangular contests, and that is where, things could get a bit close for the DMK as well as the BJP. From the Nilgiris, you've got A. Raja, in the election battle back again. You've got L. Murugan, union minister there in the election fray from the Nilgiris. Remember, there was a lot of talk, especially, which is somehow, the votes there in the Nilgiris are closely, affected, and we could see a close neck-to-neck battle, especially in the Nilgiris. A final candidate or a final seat, that's a hot seat, especially in this first phase, Chennai South. You've got the former governor of Puducherry and Andhra Pradesh there, Tamil Soundarajan there in the election fray from Chennai South. And this particular election, especially when it comes to the rains and the floods that followed in Chennai and the Chennai South region, this particular battle, the voters will have lot to think, especially when they go out to cast their vote. So it's going to be an interesting battle, especially between the voters and the candidates in the fray, but a keenly fought contest, especially on 12 seats that we have looked at. Time now for us to slip into a short breather here. On the other side, we'll get a team of reporters down on the ground. We're also going to get a team of experts here in the studios as we look at phase one of voting on the 19th of April. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
Will the Israel-Iran conflict blow up into a full-blown war in West Asia or the Middle East? Who killed the world's largest anaconda barely days after it was first discovered? Watch Connecting the Dots every Friday at 8 p.m. IST or 14:30 GMT on DD India.
Tracking the first phase of general elections, Team Poll Pulse has reached India's northeast in Assam. This is the tea city of India, Dibrugarh.
আমাৰ বগানৰ ৰাস্তাও মানে বেয়া আছে কেতিয়াবা ৰাতি ওলাই আহিলে আমি বগান দিয়ে
They are not getting jobs in the local area like in Dibrugarh or nearby districts and all.
Home to the finest tea, the state is set for a cracker of a contest. This is 2024. Can the Congress and allies offer a fight back, or will the Modi juggernaut be unstoppable? Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
Will the Israel-Iran conflict blow up into a full-blown war in West Asia or the Middle East? Who killed the world's largest anaconda barely days after it was first discovered? Watch Connecting the Dots every Friday at 8 p.m. IST or 14:30 GMT on DD India.
Well, to get a perspective on how this particular phase one of voting, especially in the west, the central and the south of India, will play out. Joining us, two eminent guests to take this deliberation forward. We've got Chakshu Roy, political analyst, joining us in the studios, and we've got seasoned senior journalist Shekhar Iyer joining us online. Let me first come to you, Shekhar. How do you see this particular phase one of elections? We've broken it down to the west, the center, and the south. But how do you see the political lines or the electoral battle lines that have been drawn, especially as we head into the first phase of voting?
Thank you, Anil. In fact, the first phase, more or less, not big changes are expected in the other states that you mentioned. But there is a lot of interest in Tamil Nadu, which has got 39 seats are there in Tamil Nadu and 1 seat in Puducherry. That makes for 40 seats. And this time the Prime Minister has focused on Tamil Nadu and also the neighboring state of Kerala. But since the Tamil Nadu is going into the first phase, we have seen Prime Minister make repeated forays into Tamil Nadu, addressing several meetings and rallies. He held a roadshow in 2 places, one in South Chennai as well as in Coimbatore. So there is a lot of excitement about how the BJP is going to pose a challenge to the established DMK-led alliance and as well as the opposition AIADMK.
Okay.
Now the problem for AIADMK has been in a state of, I should say, lumber because of internal problems, and then finally Edappadi Palaniswamy took charge, and they are also facing the BJP because they broke up the alliance with the BJP. So it is in Tamil Nadu, the first phase is going to give us some very, very interesting answers.
Okay, Tamil Nadu giving us some interesting answers. Chakshu, when one takes a look at, the central part of India, the western part of India, Rajasthan and Maharashtra in particular, the Vidarbha belt, how do you see the battle there, heating up?
It's interesting, and let me start on a personal note. It's always wonderful to see Mr. Iyer. I've had wonderful conversations with him on a range of subjects. And he makes a very interesting point about Tamil Nadu, the only state which is going in a single phase of voting. Every other state is going across multiple phases. And especially the center part of India and the western part of India, that becomes interesting because in 2019, the ruling coalition had a clean sweep, almost a clean sweep across all these things. The distinction is down south, the ruling coalition did not have as much success. Now, one thing that Mr. Iyer hinted towards was the fact that in Tamil Nadu, which was earlier a two-cornered contest, now it's going to be a three-cornered contest. Allies who have parted ways and the incumbent party. The other interesting part is that in all of these, in all the contests that we are talking about, the primary issue also to be focused on is in Tamil Nadu, there is an opposition party which is ruling the state, and in the western part of the country and in the central part of the country, it is the ruling alliance which is in the governing seat. How much does the state's performance play into the electoral fortunes of candidates contesting Lok Sabha elections will be keenly watched, I think, and that's the separation that will draw the north, the west and the center and the south.
Okay, Shekhar, you know, when one sees elections, assembly elections just get over in November, you know, to get that resources together, to put everything together again for a big general elections, you know, 4 to 5 months later, how big is it a challenge, especially on the ground, you know, to put everything to rejuvenate and get everybody going, you know, for this big election?
Yeah, you see, the challenge is more for the opposition, particularly for the Congress, especially in states like Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, because they just lost their assembly election. And since then, you know, the mood and the morale of the rank and file has been a big question. And on the other hand, it was the Prime Minister who led the BJP campaign in the assembly elections also. And when it comes to parliamentary elections, we have seen a pattern like a state in Rajasthan, where, you know, even when the voters chose Congress for the assembly seats, for, you know, when there was the last elections, when it came to Lok Sabha elections, in those very places you saw BJP win the parliamentary seats.
Okay.
There is a distinction being made by the voter. When he wanted a change in the state, he chose Congress, but when it came to Lok Sabha, he preferred the Prime Minister Modi. So there are these patterns which we are seeing, and definitely for the Congress, you know, it has already been said that there are 200 plus seats where the Congress is in direct battle with BJP. So the big question is how much of that battle between the Congress and the BJP in those 200 plus seats are going to be such that where Congress can really pose a very big challenge to Prime Minister Modi. That is a point that we are going to see through the first phase till the 7th phase.
Okay, from the first to the 7th phase, this particular battle. Let's also quickly, you know, touch base with our reporters on the ground, you know, who are very much close to how the action is unfolding. You know, Shishir joining us from Mumbai, and we've got Anabarsan Elango joining us from Chennai to take it forward. You know, Vishal, let me first come to you. You know, Rajasthan has seen many interesting battles. How do you see as we hit the mute button with 48 hours to go for that first phase of voting, how do you see things, you know, now settle down, especially when it comes to the voters and also the political candidates?
Well, a very good evening to you, Anil. That was quite interesting when we hit the mute button. Yes, now the time is very less for the 12 seats that go for elections in the first phase. And there are 25 seats in Rajasthan, as Shekhar was telling us that Rajasthan has always chosen, at least for the last two consecutive elections, BJP. And when we talk about BJP, it is the face of the Prime Minister that Rajasthan votes. Now, BJP last time scored 24 out of 25 seats. So even if BJP loses one seat to Congress, it would be a huge gain for Congress party in Rajasthan. And if BJP wins 25 seats all in Rajasthan, then also it is not going to affect the fortunes of Congress, which has not done well as far as the two consecutive Lok Sabha elections are concerned. When we talk about the issues, let me tell you that there are no big issues here, though the drinking water issue has been there for a very long time. But Prime Minister time and again has been raising the issue of the Eastern Rajasthan Canal project. And he said that in 100 days of Bhajanlal government in Rajasthan, we have sorted out the issue in agreement with Madhya Pradesh, in agreement with Haryana. So it's a huge achievement for Rajasthan, and also the OROP, one rank, one pension issue.
Okay, Vishal, I'll ask you to hold your thoughts. Let me dip down south. Let me get Anirbasan here. You know, this particular, you know, there's an interesting battle that's brewing, especially in south, you know, and that's going to be the big focus in phase one. How do you see it play out there in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry in particular?
As the first time Tamil Nadu is facing a triangular fight between all the three alliances of DMK, ADMK and BJP. So this is the first time. Before the 2014 and 2019, there is always a DMK or ADMK, the shift between both of them, and this time the NDA, the ADMK split with the BJP, so the NDA formed their own alliances with the regional parties like a PMK and all, and also the DMK. So all the three alliances, this election result would be a very important one because all are key on to 2026, the state election. Particularly the DMK, they came in 2021 and the MK Stalin became a chief minister on first time. So last 3 years, the anti-incumbency, the flood-related situation in Southern District and Chennai, and also the AIDMK, they split, they break alliance with the BJP. They need to ensure that they are still in the main player in the state. And the BJP, the emerging as an important player in Tamil Nadu, they become a major player in various constituencies. They fielded star candidates. They fielded even the state president K. Annamalai and South Chennai, the former governor. So all the three alliances are in tough fight. We need to wait and watch this election. It should be a ADMK or DMK or it should be a
it's a triangular contest. Let me quickly get Shishir here joining us from Maharashtra. Shishir, the Vidarbha region, the 5 seats that go to poll. How do you see, as we've hit that pause button, especially when it comes to the campaign, how do you see the candidates and the political battle and the political campaign that the candidates have had till date?
Well, absolutely, Anil. This time around, we've seen quite a multifaceted kind of political battle in Maharashtra. Why I'm saying this because even though on a large number, on large picture, you can see the NDA and the India Alliance, but if you deep down here, you will see that there will be 2 factions of Shiv Sena, there will be 2 factions of NCP. And that's the reason this time around the equation has changed completely. Although, in the first phase, the 5 seats will be going on poll, but to decide those candidates for these 5 seats also become very big task for all these parties. Obviously, NDA has got upper hand here because NDA's numbers and NDA's name have already been announced, and that's the reason they got quite a good amount of time to go for the campaigning here. And that's the reason even in the first phase, the Eastern Vidarbha region I'm talking about, we have seen here that the fight between India and India Alliance at this point in time is quite neck to neck. I'm telling you this neck to neck because obviously the India Alliance, that BJP and other alliances got upper hand. But even India Alliance trying very hard to gain their ground again because that was earlier the Congress bastion, but now over a period of time, BJP and Shiv Sena has tackled it quite well, and that's the reason the BJP and NDA has got the upper hand in the Eastern Vidarbha region. Now, will they maintain that bastion again? They'll retain that is a major question, and how the Congress will fight back to again gain a position in Eastern Vidarbha region. That's an important aspect that India Alliance and India Alliance is fighting on these 5 seats in Eastern Vidarbha region.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you. I appreciate all the 3 journalists there on the ground who joined us this evening. Vishal Baristo, Shishir Shelar from Maharashtra there in Mumbai, and also Anar Basan joining us from Chennai, getting us the latest on what's happening on the ground, because that's where the news is on the ground. Also, the Great Indian Election is your one-stop show on weekdays on all that matters in Indian elections of 2024. What could be the region that could be a part of our deep dive on Thursday night? Countdown for the first phase of voting begins. We track the states from the east and the north in phase 1 of voting and how they matter as India decides in 2024. Join us as we look at the candidates, states and all that matter this election season on the Great Indian Election at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT only on DD India. Well, our image of the day, 2 sorties in an ICE 172 chopper saved a few days' trek for a team of polling officials as they carried EVM, VVPATs and other polling materials to 4 of the remotest polling station in India's Arunachal Pradesh. Take a look.
तंत्र है हमसे और यही कल है हमारा भारत के विकास में मतदान ध्यान जरूरी हमारा.
Well, that's all we have time for. It's time for me to say goodbye to the two guests who joined us this evening. Chakshu Roy here in the studios with us. Shekhar Iyer, a pleasure having you always. We're going to have longer deliberations here, but time for me to say goodbye here. That's it from me and my entire team of the Great Indian Elections. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. Well, it's time for me to say goodbye. Stay safe. Take care. Bye for now.